Judy, hi. Lisa, hi. How are you guys doing? Hi, Jeannie. How's it hanging? Hiya. Kim, Michelle, Amy. Oh my God. Heavy hitters. Thanks. My hair looks lovely. Guys, stop, but don't stop. Keep going. Is anyone else got the winter blues? There's no dopamine to be had anywhere, no matter what. Yeah, I know. Me too. Let me show you what I'm wearing. This is one of the oldest pieces. I think I paid $1,200 for this. Must have been 20 years ago. No, 15 years ago. It's a 15 karat snake. Totally everything's intact, like no repairs, nothing changed or altered. 1860s probably, all like chased and engraved, diamond eyes, the original heart dangle locket, teeth. See the teeth on that snake? Fangs. Tons of turquoise. Yeah, I paid about $1,000, possibly less. You know how much we would sell this for now? Like $7,000, $8,000. It's insane. It's gotten so crazy. Thanks, Jeannie. I've worn this so many times when I needed like the Ouroboros power. What else am I wearing? This is a piece I never wear. This is one of these things that people look for and hardly ever find. It's an Edwardian horseshoe bracelet with 7 nails. It's rose gold. I think it's 9 karat. Silver or platinum, I'm not sure which, nails. They're silver. I know that because they've been tarnishing and I had to polish it before this. But it's got a hinge so you can open it like this. A great little hinge in there. There's the safety clasp. The thing I really love about it, let's see if you can see this. See the engraving inside there? It says, "To Hazel from Daddy, 8th May 1924. Just from someone's loving dad. What a great gift. I'm probably not gonna sell most of these things. I got them so early in my career. And at this point I know what I want to keep. I don't know what would make me sell these, but Hazel was a pony girl, yeah. As was I when I was little. I still gravitate towards the horse jewelry. Okay, my rings. Oh, the rings are this one. It's lava. It's a goddess. This one's for sale tonight. I'm just wearing it because I think it's pretty fucking amazing. Lava as in actual lava that came out of a volcano, carved as a Grand Tour souvenir. It's coming up towards the middle of the show, but isn't that great? Georgian mount. Pretty good. And then this one is the last thing for sale today. It's a celluloid 1930s photograph ring, which is a whole weird ass genre on its own. Hi Regina, hi Jeannie, hi Honor, diehards. You guys are the real deal. I'm so glad people are here on Valentine's Day. Does anyone go out on Valentine's? I mean, maybe some people do. I certainly am not. Invoice. Okay, so speaking of invoice, I'll tell you for new people how this works, okay? I'm gonna go through the 45 pieces one at a time. I'll tell you prices, I'll tell you details. If you're interested in buying it, you can tell me in the comments that you would like an invoice. So you can say invoice lava ring, invoice celluloid ring. We're not selling these quite yet, but when they come up. And Veronica, oh, hey, Ari. Hey, girl. Veronica will send you an invoice. And you can check your DMs and pay that invoice, and that means you will win that piece of jewelry. We're gonna keep like 2 or 3 minutes between sending out invoices if multiple people request them. So whoever we see first, we'll send you the invoice first. If you do get an invoice and decide you don't want the thing, just don't pay for it. No pressure. We'll move on to the next person. But if you do pay for a piece of jewelry and we mail it to you, do not return it. There are no returns on Instagram Live purchases. If you feel hesitant or if you feel like you can't afford it, whatever it is, if you have doubts, don't buy it, okay? Do not return it. No returns. Final sale, period. Rhinestone Cowgirl is Veronica, and she's gonna be the one sending you DMs. And feel free to chat, like write whatever you want in the chat. Ask me questions, talk to each other. I love to see it. It keeps me like entertained. Okay. What else do I need to say? You can't just claim something in the comments. You have to actually request an invoice, pay for the invoice. And we charge $20 flat fee for shipping. That gets you UPS, ground, shipping, signature. We'll need you to sign for it to receive it. And it is insured. $20 doesn't actually like cover it all. It's just to cover some of our shipping costs. We're not making money on shipping. And what else? What else can I say? What am I forgetting? CLL.
It'll take us a few weeks to ship.
Ooh, Emily is getting a Valentine's gift. Can locals do pickup? No, because I am in upstate New York and all this stuff is with me. Portlanders, you're on the other side of the country. So it is gonna take probably a week and a half before the stuff is sent out to you. What I do is anything that's sold, I bulk mail it to Veronica on the West Coast, and then she's the one who like packs and ships it real pretty to you guys. And it takes a minute. So just be calm, be patient, be chill. Shall we? Okay. First thing, for this one, I actually pulled a lot of things out of my own jewelry box. Oh, hey, Lily. This is a something that's been in my jewelry box forever, and I've worn with a lot of things, but I just don't wear it as much as I thought I would, so it's up for grabs. It's a 18-inch, 15 karat gold, French braided chain. It's slim. It's 18 inches long. It's $750. And it's got this great slim little barrel clasp. So whatever you want to string on this can go right on. I'll take something. This is like the next thing I'm selling. It can basically like fit through the teeniest little jump rings to hang multiple pieces if you want. I think it was made around the year 1800. It's truly braided. It's like a square braid. 15 karat gold. It's a little bit archaeological revival. It sort of has that Etruscan, ancient look to it, but I can tell from the clasp that it's somewhere between 1800 and 1900, but I think it's on the earlier side of 1800. $750. Guys, it's hard to find a 15 karat chain. Most of them are wildly expensive or too short. I mean, you know, good chain is hard to find. $750. I know it sounds crazy, but have you guys seen the price of gold recently? It's 18 inches, which is, in my opinion, the absolute perfect length for necklaces. When I make you guys silver chains for the ancient Roman coin necklaces. They're 18 inches. I found it to be a pretty ideal length. It's sort of, if you're wearing a lot of necklaces, 18 is like the middle length. Yeah, it's not a bad deal at all. It's 1.63 grams. Yeah, you want to see the length? Yeah, I show you. There's the clasp, and it's truly a braid, a box-shaped braid. The reason I'm saying this is archaeological revival, because in ancient Rome and the ancient Etruscan jewelry, there were lots of braided styles where a long piece of gold wire was sort of extruded into a long wire and then braided or arranged in some kind of way. And I can move on because I have a feeling once you guys see some of the other ancient things I'm selling, you're going to want this chain to put those ancient things on. So the next thing on my list is this acorn, this Victorian acorn charm that's made out of feldspar. Okay, feldspar is also known as silk spar. And it's kind of insane. Can you see it? Looks like there's a light inside the acorn. Feldspar is a, how do I even say it? The light is just bouncing around and kind of moving through this sort of stratified layered stone. Can you see that? I'll flip the camera so it's a little better. This guy is also $750. And by now you guys kind of probably know the symbolism behind the acorn and the oak. It's all about stability. The Victorians used the acorn as a metaphor for strength, prosperity, possibility. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "The creation of 1,000 forests is in one acorn." Okay, it's sold. Okay, so both of these things are sold, so I'm gonna put them over here. It's a good pair. If you bought them together, good call. Okay, we're moving right into ancient stuff. And yeah, who got that one? Chatoyancy, yes. I don't know how to say your handle, Afelerhund, but Chatoyancy is something I know about from like cat's eye chrysoberyl. It looks like there's like a cat's eye kind of moving. It's feldspar, Alexandria. Feldspar. Okay, so you guys know that I've been selling ancient coins a lot, and I have a couple kooky metal detector guys in England who sell me stuff. They're like my drug dealers, sort of, but for like ancient metal shit. So this time around, my dude showed me these things he had that are not coins, but they're like cosmetic implements from ancient Rome. These were all found in Great Britain. This one's $495, and it's a fingernail cleaner. Okay, apparently it's from the 1st century or 2nd century, and you would wear these on a ring with a couple other important cosmetic implements, like an eyeliner applicator, a tweezer. And this one, I'm pretty sure you would use it to clean your fingernails, and that would be the safety mechanism so you didn't get too far under there. These were common. They're super common. Tons of women and men had these. Soldiers carried them around. It's bronze. It is totally freaking wearable. This is the kind of thing I would wear. Snake necklace is not for sale. I'm sorry. It's mine from many years ago. It's just, I'm wearing it tonight. Ancient Roman fingernail cleaner. It's also kind of like a handsome little object. Check out the wheat, abstracted wheat pattern on the top. which was co-opted later in the Art Deco period as this pattern would be put on hundreds of thousands of 1930s wedding bands as a symbol of fertility, abundance, marital happiness. This wheat pattern has been a thing for thousands of years. $495. It's a cool thing. I don't know if I even mentioned this to you guys, but in my mind, this Instagram Live has a theme, and the theme is self-care, because I started collecting lots of little things for these Instagram Lives, and I find a lot of peace and tranquility in organizing them and shuffling through them and reorganizing them. And I found these little themes coming through, and lots of these objects they're talismans, but they're also a lot of useful little objects, tools, personal symbols. Let's see if you see this thread coming through also, because I don't know. Let me show you the next one. Maybe it'll make more sense. This is an Anglo-Saxon cosmetic implement, probably an eyeliner applicator. Amazing. It's copper, some sort of copper alloy, which is why it has this great green patina. It's $425. It's been underground for 2,000 years, or 1,500 years, let's say. Anglo-Saxon is post Roman Britain. So the Anglo-Saxons were in Britain after the Romans sort of left Britannia for warmer places. They just sort of slowly filtered out, and Anglo-Saxons were doing a lot of things that the Roman did, borrowed a lot of things from Roman culture. This kind of thing was found with other Anglo-Saxon items. Why is it bent? Probably because it was plowed over multiple times over the last 1,500 years. So it was most likely probably straight. But again, if you have a necklace with a lot of charms on it, this is a freaking dope thing. It's got so many things that you want in a pendant. One, a color that's not metal. No, sold. Is that sold, or did it something else? Okay.
Something else.
That was the Roman fingernail thing. It's cool. There's a few of these little things, but they would have been carried together by anyone. Women, soldiers, someone dropped them long, long ago. This one, what I read was the Anglo-Saxons were living in what we now sometimes call the Dark Ages. I always was like, what's the Dark Ages? Is it the Middle Ages? When importing, would these be considered artifacts? Where are you, Regina? Are you in the US? We'll talk offline, but it depends, where you are. Or when importing them to me. Oh, you're in LA? Let's talk offline. I don't know exactly what we're talking about. But when we talk about the Dark Ages, the Anglo-Saxon period, there just wasn't a lot of written history. The Romans had great written history of everything. There was cookbooks. There were domestic, guides to keeping house or raising children. They wrote down freaking everything. Receipts. And then during the Dark Ages, the early Middle Ages or the early medieval period, there just wasn't the kind of obsessive recording. Yeah. And now people don't really call it the Dark Ages anymore. It is a little bit ignorant to call it that, but here you go. Anglo-Saxon cosmetic implement, $425. And okay, this one, I love when I buy something because I think it's awesome and then I learn something completely new, which is what happened with this piece. It's essentially a safety pin. This is a pre-Roman British safety pin, essentially. $450. It's from the Celts. The Celts, a Celtic person made this. It's still, this is the spring. This is what a safety pin is, essentially. It just has more of a bowed shape. Yeah, it's like a fibula. And it still kind of works. I mean, I would be super careful. This metal is brittle. And it has this beautiful black patina, but it's from the 1st century, around that. And the culture is called, as per the British Museum, I learned it's called the Trois period. It's basically a pre-Iron Age Gallic culture or Celtic culture. Oh, hey, weird specialty. We have to meet in real life. You're my neighbor. Yeah, and this could be as old as 450 BC. Okay, looks like it's sold, but this was metal detected in Wiltshire in the UK. 450 BC, guys. This is like some crazy ass shit. The next one, and the last of my self-care ancient implements, is a kind of fantastic pair of ancient Roman. You recognize this. Everyone needs to remove hair or eyebrows. They're tweezers. They still work. I mean, I wouldn't try to do like do all your eyebrows with this, but it's copper. It's got the same basic idea that we have today. 1st century to the 4th century, copper, metal detected in the UK, probably British. I mean, probably ancient Romans who were occupying Britain at that time. $425. Another thing that would look fucking awesome on a chain. I would just hang it. Like, I wouldn't add a ring or anything. Just put your chain through the top there. And you'll always have a thing that is going to help you, like, time travel. If you guys are having trouble living in the present moment of our fucked up history, sometimes it can be very grounding to have an ancient object around to make you feel like survival. It helps kind of collapse time and expand time at the same time and put things in perspective a little bit. I don't know. It helps stabilize me. $425. 1st century copper alloy, ancient Roman tweezers, metal detected in the UK. Pretty rad. They're about just under 2 inches long. So this would be part of someone's, cosmetic setup. You'd wear it on a ring, carry it around. Veronica, what's sold out of these cosmetic thingies? Everything?
So far just the fingernail pendant, but we have some invoices out now.
Cool. All right, I'll move on. I have just 2 more ancient pieces. And they're both coins because, man, ancient Roman coins are fucking cool. This one, I'll flip it so you can see it. This is an ancient Roman denarius, a silver denarius. We know the exact year it was made, which is 113 AD. You see, who was the ruler at the time? Trajan. That's Emperor Trajan, but I don't really care. The part I like is what he chose to depict on the back. And what we have here is the goddess Annona, Annona. She was essentially the goddess of nourishment. The thing she's doing, she was the goddess of the grain supply for Rome. So she was the feeder. She was like the Italian grandma of goddesses. She's got a cornucopia in that right hand that she's holding over a child. So she was always depicted with kids, taking care of kids, holding kids in her arms. In the other hand, she has a big stalk of corn or wheat. There's a dark piece of like, I don't know, what do you call it? Just like tarnish on there. That's because this silver alloy isn't 100% pure. There's some other weird, metal in there that's tarnished. It was not an exact science. All around the top, there's letters that say SPQR Optimo Principi Alim Ital, which means the Senate and the people of Rome to the best leader, the Italian food supply, which is very like Nona grandma, goddess Anona, $595. Oh, Kim, you bought one. Okay, Anona is my new favorite god. She takes care of kids. She feeds the people. Pretty great. And I added a silver ring on the top. How are we doing with this focusing? So this can really be put on any necklace with charms that you already have. It plays well with others. How much? $595. And for the latecomers, if you want to buy something, you can say in the chat, say something like invoice Anona coin, invoice ancient Roman coin, and Veronica will DM you an invoice. If you have two devices, some people do this on two devices, like use your phone to watch this, use your computer to use the computer to check out through the DMs, because I think you have to leave the Instagram live to go to your DMs. But Anona, the feeder of people in the year 113 AD. My next and last ancient Roman coin of the night is Felicitas, the goddess of good fortune. Here she is. Okay, so the year is 283 or 284 AD. It's getting a little bit later in the Roman Empire. Things are kind of starting to fall apart. And you can see that the quality of the silver has gone way down. There's a bunch of copper and other metals here, which means the coinage was degrading. It wasn't as pure as it was at the beginning of, 200 years before, when Rome was really, really flourishing. At this point, Carinus was the emperor, and he was struggling to keep shit under control. So he used this goddess Felicitas to be his ally, to be in everyone's pocket throughout the empire. You had his face, Carinus, and Felicitas, the goddess of good luck and good fortune, basically. Wouldn't you want to be associated with good luck? It sort of strengthened his image. $595, and let me see. Yeah, I learned recently, so Felicitas was the goddess of good luck as opposed to Fortuna, which was another goddess, but she was more like the goddess of fate. So she could bring good luck or bad luck. She could bring like terrible luck. Fortuna was more like, the goddess of what the future holds. Felicitas, purely good luck. An excellent talisman. That one's sold. Okay, this is a thing that I made, and I'll tell you, I had a ton of fun doing it. So I've had this short vulcanite chain for, a year or so. I bought it when I bought a lot of stuff early on from a friend who sells little like bits and pieces of things. I love vulcanite. It's a form of, it's rubber. It's a form of early rubber. It's a thermoplastic. You can melt it and mold it. You can heat it and mold it again. So when English people first got into South America and were figuring out what to take from the South American people and environment. They found rubber trees, and they're like, we got something here. So Charles Goodyear, who ended up figuring out tires, more or less, before he figured out tires, he was developing things like this, vulcanite. And people used it to make mourning jewelry and all kinds of things. I think vulcanite, no, one of the other ones, gutta percha, is another rubber cousin. People used it in like dental fillings because it could be molded like a very early plastic. Anyway, I put this together with a really fantastic gold-filled Albert chain. Guys, I haven't even told you how much it is. It's sold already, but it was $895, and there's a lot of places you can add your own charms. It's got some good old dog clips, and there's just a lot of ways to wear this. I got excited. It's been a long time since I made jewelry. Here's what I would do. Put this through here. You know, I started my career making, like, sort of assembling jewelry. So, sort of flexing some old muscles here. Oh, hi Monty. How are you? Does everyone know Lost Owl jewelry? You guys should do some Instagram lives too. You'd be great. Real historians there. And good people. Okay, so that one's sold. Put that in the pile. Okay, we're moving forward in, well, okay, we've left the Roman era. Let's go to this guy. Oh, hi Lee. What is up? This little box. I found this locally in the Hudson Valley. Hardly ever happens. But this is made from several slices of different striped agate. This one seems really carnelian-ish. And this one is almost like a quilted, it's $550, by the way. It was probably used for snuff, or even cooler, it could have been a patch box, meaning back in the, I guess, 18th century and probably early 19th century too. Monty, you can hit me with corrections here because I think you know this more than I do, but they were like little stickers, almost like zit stickers, or those called starface patches that you put on top of a blemish and make it a feature, you know, sort of like it looked a little bit like a birthmark or something, but really I've read it was to cover up scars from like smallpox or chickenpox. I bet it was also just used to cover up zits. But they would come in really interesting shapes. Circles, but also like stars or like little mice or whatever you could think of. It was often like black velvet. And I've seen for sale, very rare, sometimes people find the original boxes with patches still in it, like little beautifully cut little pieces of old velvet. I wish. I totally wish. Anyway, it's so petite. The year is probably like 1830 or so. It's just brass fittings, but the agate is gorgeous. $550. Let me know. Patchbox. Probably Scottish. I'm getting a Scottish kind of vibe. All this good stonework. There was a lot of great stonework done in Scotland, so let's say Scottish looking. Oh, and it's all kind of transparent. Maybe kind of hard to see that, but it is. It's lovely. Next one. I didn't do these in chronological order. I did that last time, and I think it went well. Do you guys find it like jarring for me to jump all over through like the 19th century and then go back to ancient Rome and then like Deco? Let's see. Oh, also someone had a question a minute ago. Oh. in the British Isles, how likely was it that people dropped things like coins as opposed to intentionally buried them? Oh, that's a good question. People did bury things if they were, like they buried hordes of things. If they were like, probably for all kinds of reasons, but if they were literally on the run, like if they knew the town was being invaded and they knew that either their shit was going to get stolen or they had to do a really good job of hiding things, that's where a lot of hordes came from. That's why they were hoarded. And then probably the people died, never came back, whatever. But no, people dropped things all the time, especially in like latrines or just walking around, hole in the pocket, like things fall. Think about how many things you've lost over the years. I have at least two really awesome pieces of jewelry that are on my front lawn somewhere. It's been a year or more. My daughter yanked off a charm necklace. Things went flying. Nearly impossible to find in tall grass, apparently. Metal detectors are doing the work. Okay, this guy I think is sold. No, Patchbox is sold. I'm seeing these like, you guys can't see this, but I get these big like messages like something was sold for $550. Okay, so I'll move that. We're moving to the Art Nouveau period, okay? Otter Creek goods. I think the next one I'll do chronological, because otherwise it's really hard for me to pick an order for these things. I just don't know. It's overwhelming to try to arrange them in some sort of like storytelling way. So let's go to the year 1890, okay? This kind of pearl, it looks like very organic looking, aka not round. It looks sort of like a hunk of like gum that someone chewed up and spit out. It's called a Baroque pearl. If someone knows why it's called a Baroque pearl, I will take that explanation. But this one was in a lot of about 10 stick pins that Lindsay and I bought from someone who collected Baroque pearl themed stick pins. It's 14 karat gold. We got a little 0.05 carat sapphire in the bottom. And instead of being a stick pin, this thing is now a really sweet pendant. And I like this infinity sign. The reason people loved Baroque pearls in the 1890s was because this was like Art Nouveau time. And Art Nouveau was very sort of like anything diaphanous or like gauzy. It was kind of hippie, to be honest. They were obsessed with nature. They were obsessed with like flowing garments, moonstone, it's a celestial plane. It was kind of a little bit psychedelic. Can you tell me, Veronica, when something's sold so I can move on? Or you might not be getting alerts like I am.
It takes me a second to, but sold. Yeah. That one just sold.
Okay, I have 2 more Baroque pearls coming up. The next one is a really good Baroque pearl that looks kind of like, let's see, does this look like a tooth to you guys? It's real irregular. Again, 1890s, used to be a stick pin. How to buy? You can say, in the chat, you say, just like Regina did, invoice please, or invoice. Whoever's first is gonna get a DM from Veronica, who is our retail manager, and Alicia, hold that thought because I love it. Anyway, so you got to check your DMs, pay the invoice via the link that we DM you, and whoever pays the invoice first gets the thing. Okay, you can use Shop Pay to check out if you want to pay over time, but we don't do traditional layaway for this stuff. Everything is final sale, and shipping is a flat $20. Okay.
This one has sold.
Yeah, Baroque pearls are super compelling because they're all Really unique. Okay, so Alicia is saying, Art Deco looks like it was made by dwarves and Art Nouveau is elves. Anyone who wants to drop a Lord of the Rings themed comment here is very welcome to do so. Our 20th century jewelry is normally not my bag, but the next Instagram Live has a bunch of deco stuff in it because I found a bunch of great deco stuff that's affordable, is not too cookie cutter looking. Like sometimes it looks just too industrial, mass produced to me. French deco is a new obsession for me. So yeah, Art Deco is very precise, very geometric. The dwarves were in Lord of the Rings. The dwarves were engineers, basically, right? Masons. And the elves were sort of tree people. They were like mycelium people. Lots of like fluid arches and cathedral shapes. So yes, agree. French deco is awesome. Here's the last of the Baroque pearl pieces. It's also $550. It's got a little diamond at the top, Baroque pearl. It's a converted stick pin, another Art Nouveau piece. The diamond is a little but small but mighty old euro. Just about 0.05 carats. 14 carat. I think that the like contrast of a super hard colorless diamond right next to a big sort of Zoftig pearl that's soft and creamy and like has no facets or geometry to it at all. It's sort of like an elf and a dwarf, hanging out together. It's got both. It's fabulous. 1890s. It was a stick pin, and we made it into a pendant. I'll show you how big it is on the bod. Okay, for the people just joining, if you are interested in buying something, I'm just going one by one through the 45 pieces I have, and you can tell me invoice that thing, invoice Baroque Pearl, and then check your DMs and use the link to check out. We take shop pay, $20 flat shipping, UPS shipping, tracked, insured, and final sale. No returns, baby. What's next? Okay, here's a little weird one. Once in a while I get these. This is called a fairy stone cross, or a, what's the name of it? Staurolite, Staurolite. It looks like a kind of like Christian cross, I guess, but actually it's a mineral that grows like that. Double, what do they call it? Like intersecting crystals. And they're only found in a couple places. It's a really American stone. And this one comes with, this is crazy. I think this is probably a 1950s mounting. I added a 14 karat ring on top, or a 9 karat ring, sorry. The reason I think it's 1950s is because this came with it, and this looks pretty goddamn mid-century to me. This was a tourist souvenir. This is $225, by the way. It tells you so many things about the old Virginia fairy or lucky stone. Buy one and have good luck always. The little cross that brings you love, luck, and pleasures. I don't know why, but it says, it's well known that ex-President Roosevelt and ex-President Wilson and officers and men in the European War carried one or more of these little lucky pieces tucked snugly away about them. Okay, so I'm gonna amend my idea that it was the 1950s and say this was actually probably the 1930s, because they weren't saying World War One, they're saying the European War. Because little did they know there's gonna be another one. Fun. Anyway, these grow in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, and they were considered lucky for actually like at least 100 years before this, because they look like crosses, okay?
Sold.
Obviously, Jesus put it there. God put it there, whatever. Okay, sold. Let's see. Fairy Stone Cross. I'll send you, whoever bought that, I will give you the paperwork with it. No, I didn't sell the stacking rings yet. And Storelight, yeah, named after crosses. All right, Veronica, what can I put away? Any of those ancient Roman implements?
Every single thing has sold so far.
All right. The patch box. Okay, nothing left. I love you guys. I love that this is Valentine's Day. Ari, are you still there? My baby daddy's watching. Ari? I'd like to think my kids are watching too. I think my older son, who is 6.5, is very interested in where mama goes every 2 weeks with hair and makeup on. And he gets this stuff. Like, you know, last week on one of the 500 snow days with no school, he was in my office helping me clean the stuff and organize it and unpack it. And he has reverence for these things, which is all I can hope to impart, you know, for all of us. Some kind of reverence for something. Okay, I know, the snake necklace is good. You want to see the teeth again? There was a period, I think it's like 1840s, let's say 1840s, where snake jewelry always had teeth. And there's many of them. Kids do know. Okay, so next, $425. It's a little mirror. It's Niello. We all love Niello. It's silver with this sort of surface treatment that is black metal. The mirror is kind of cloudy. I would say this is 1900, 1910. Look, infinity mirror. Hey. Okay, the cool thing that's really hard to show here is that the mirror is slightly convex. So when I, am wearing this, or I have it in my bag or whatever, and I'm checking to see if I have lipstick on my teeth, it's concave and I can see my whole freaking face in this. Somehow it miniaturizes your face so you can see yourself. I've never seen that before. I bought this as French, but most Niello at the turn of the last century was made in Russia, in Eastern Europe, in this town that was then called Tula, right? Tula, is it Tula?
Sold. Okay,
it's sold, but it's got a crazy ass hallmark on the bottom that I can only imagine is Austro-Hungarian or Russian, because I've never seen it before. It is sold. Oh, these are just like so lovable. It's ridiculous. $675. They're 18 karat French Dormeuse. Dormeusses. It means sleepers. And it's because these earrings are so goddamn comfortable. Once they're in your ears, a lot like my little Roman earrings, they're in and there's nothing to worry about. They're not going to come out. The backs aren't going to come off. They just stay in very comfortably and you can sleep in them. Hence the name Dormeuse, sleepers. 18 karat with a really crisp French hallmark for 18 karat, which is, let's see if my camera is good enough so you could actually see this. I think it would be helpful for you all to know what a French 18 karat mark looks like. Do you see That was pretty good. I'm not going to pinch it. I'm just pointing. Right there. It's a stamp that looks kind of like a ding or a dent. It's actually the head of an eagle facing left. It's crispy in real life. No, it's an eagle head. And it's the French hallmark for 18 karat. They were really good about marking things. And this black dot is glass. It's called crepe glass, C-R-E-P-E, like crepe the fabric. It looks like a folding, rippling fabric. And these would have been mourning earrings for wearing during the earliest stages of mourning, where you had to wear black, but not only did you have to wear black, you had to wear black things that were not reflective or shiny. That would just be too... Can anyone see the earring, or does the print obscure it? Oh, you want me to hold it up here? Is that what you're saying? That makes sense. Yeah, crepe. It would have been made in a mold. Matte black would have been the rule for dressing during the first stages of mourning. And
Sold.
Okay, sold. How are you doing, Gloria? Okay, speaking of black jewelry, this has nothing to do with mourning, but I love a time travel situation in jewelry. This is an obsidian arrowhead brooch. I'm asking $425. It's super duper, like, knife sharp. It's either Neolithic British or Neolithic, people who lived in what is now Britain, or it could have been American. But the mounting was made in the 19th century. We can tell from the way the pin technology is, which is this like T channel kind of thing. I don't know if this has an actual name, but this is 19th century pin technology. How do you purchase? You can just comment, say, oh, sorry, don't do that. That's my camera. Hold on. I'm going to try to get rid of my cough. Thank you, Rhinestone Cowgirl. That's Veronica, by the way. Just say, in the comments, say, invoice Arrowhead, $425. Basically, in the 19th century, people were getting really interested in paleontology and ancient people and ancient artifacts and the idea of there being a distant past or deep time. What they called cave people, which we know are like Neolithic people. So they were finding these artifacts and elevating them to the level of gemstones or fine jewelry. People did a similar thing with natural objects too, which is awesome. People made jewelry out of exotic insects and butterfly wings, and all through the 19th century and some of the 18th century, there was this real interest in found earth-made objects or early human-made objects. So awesome. Beef dripping is not for sale, but thanks for noticing. This has been my pen case for the past 15 years or so. I bought it at Portobello Market in London on our first trip there. And it was originally used, I guess, for beef fat, tallow, for the kitchen. Anyway, can you see how the edges of this are so incredibly thin and sharp that the light's just coming right through? It's fucking awesome. It's a fucking awesome thing. Next is a very elaborately enameled St. Christopher pendant. Does everyone know about St. Christopher? This is, oh my God, there's so many directions I could go and tell you about St. Christopher. But let's first just enjoy this man's abs. Look at his muscles. Look at his pecs. Look at the muscles of his biceps. This is $475. The year, oh my God, I didn't write down the year, but either Monty from Lost Owl or someone else will be able to tell me based on the coin. This is a George III shilling, or sorry. Oh, I did write it down. It's 1818 silver coin. Again, check out, I was saying the pin technology. All through the 1800s, you would have seen this movable pin made in a T shape, and the T goes through a channel. It opens and closes like that. Someone had fun making that. There's the dragon at the bottom. And essentially, St. Christopher was an allegory for England. And it's a tale of good versus evil. It's good triumphing over evil and protection of the faithful. St. Christopher slaying the dragon. If only everything in life was really that black and white. Good versus evil. But that's chivalry for you. That's why stories about knights and dragons and good and evil and pure, good conquering evil, it's so compelling. That's why we keep going back to these stories about knights and dragons and swords and shields, and when we all really love such a clear delineation of what's good and what's bad. In truth, can be very gray, but his abs come through very clear. Oh yeah, did I say St. Christopher? I'm saying I mean St. George. I do not mean St. Christopher. Thank you for correcting me. Okay, moving on. Here is the Moonstone's still to come, and this guy is the 5-layer ring that I think someone was really interested in. This thing is unfortunately referred to as a harem ring because, let's see, you know what, the internet doesn't really know why. And invoice rings. Okay, it's $1,950. Let me just tell you what it is. It's size 8. It is not resizable, and it's got a connector in the back. So they can open and close, but you can't just wear one at a time. We've got rubies, emeralds, sapphires, and 24 little old cut diamonds. I think this was made probably around 1900, but they were made throughout the 20th century, so I can't be totally sure. Okay, someone just bought it, but the reason they were called harem rings is because in the 18th and 19th centuries, people were very obsessed with Turkish culture. Back then it was Ottoman. It was called the Ottoman Empire. And they just thought it was so exotic, and they were very interested in what a harem was and what these courtesans might have had some sexual liberation that English and American people did not have. So they got really obsessed with the aesthetics surrounding Ottoman culture, and this, God knows what that came from, but they started calling this a harem ring, and it stuck, and that is still the name for it. It's probably right on the edge of political correctness, but it is a pretty rad kind of piece of jewelry. So anyway, it's sold. Did I also call that piece a St. Michael? St. Michael? Did I call it St. Christopher, St. George, and St. Michael? Sorry if I confused the hell out of you. Confused myself too. Okay, this is, how often I get asked if any of our boxes are for sale? Well, they never are for sale. But this one came with a piece I bought. It wasn't originally connected to that piece, but I thought I have a good story about this one. First, it's $325. It was made in Manchester. It would have come with a piece of jewelry that you'd buy from a jeweler named H. Samuel. The year, I found out, because I'm real good at researching, was 1895. So this was from an 1895 ring. It has this great old Georgian-looking brass clasp. And you motherfuckers, someone bought it.
Old.
But let me tell you who H. Samuel was. If you find any record of H. Samuel in old newspapers, they call him Mr. Samuel, but actually H was Harriet Samuel, a woman, one of three sisters in Manchester who married these three brothers who were all in the jewelry biz, watches, chains. Three sisters married three brothers. And I found an article that said in 1861, all three brothers were arrested for fighting each other in the street. So that sounds like a real happy, perfect situation, but apparently they were beating the shit out of each other in Manchester and ended up in the clink. So, yeah, it's in fantastic shape. Velvet, leather, silk, brass, sold. Okay, this ring that I'm sad to take off my finger is made of lava. She is a really dynamic, you can see her body under her garments. You can see how her leg is. She's standing in that kind of contrapposto, invoice. $1,600, a fucking amazing price for this piece. Neoclassical as fuck. 1820s. Look at the sort of specimen type mount back there. Very Georgian with those split shoulders. It can be resized. 15 karat yellow gold and just the most minimal of frames on that guy. I think, you guys, you tell me what you think, but I think this is the goddess Hera, Hera. It's, what size is it? Oh God, I didn't write that down. It's about a 6.5, but it can be resized, no problem. Hera is, she was the queen of the gods. She was the goddess of marriage. She was both sister and wife to Zeus, which I don't know how the fuck that worked, but there you go. She's holding an offering bowl in her hand and a scepter. And everything I looked up said those are Hera's special tools. Oh, okay. Is this sold? She was a protector of women, among other things. I think she also killed a lot of people. She was very jealous. Sold, sad to say. Next up, we're going to travel back in time to the 1500s, specifically 1584 to 1586. There's only 2 years that this could have possibly have been made, 3 years. This is Queen Elizabeth. It's $425. It's a silver Elizabethan penny. Check out her neck ruff, the Elizabethan ruff. She's wearing the crown. She is the Virgin Queen that we all know. And these are the pennies that everyone carried around during the time of Shakespeare. $425 for a silver Elizabethan penny. It's like nearly 500 years old. She kind of arguably really solidified British culture in a lot of ways. It was England's first golden age. I'm not saying that she was a saint or she was a pretty fucked up person. She was the one who launched kind of the beginning of the colonial world. We could call it globalism. We can also call it like colonial genocide. So call it what you will, but she was in power for a long ass time. And I mean, any number of really incredible people have depicted her in movies recently. I like the Kate Blanchett one. Kate Blanchett's Elizabeth I. Who else did a good Elizabeth I? Whatever, not important. What else can I tell you about this? As I get more into my coin nerdery, these all have mint marks on them. Right above her head, it's nearly impossible to see because I think I almost accidentally drilled through it with my drill. There's a scallop shell was the mint mark. Tells us exactly where these were made. And you know what? I didn't write down what that one means, but there you go. $425. The next piece I have is another Elizabeth I coin, but it's a whole lot bigger than the last one. This one's a relatively gigantic Elizabeth I shilling coin. And this one you really can see the mint mark. Oh my God. I can see it, but I imagine you guys are like, what the fuck is she talking about? Here's Elizabeth again. She's wearing that crazy ass neck ruff and her little crown. At the top here, you can barely see it, but it's like a squared off oval shape. It's called a wool pack. And in the 1590s, throughout the 1500s really, wool was the numero uno English product that was being shipped all over the world. Wool was kind of what made England's economy run. So the wool pack would have been something that was familiar to everyone. It was a bunch of wool gathered together in like a barrel shape, and it was the big product, sheep and wool. This guy's $495. It's big. It's Elizabethan. It looks like munched up.
And it's sold.
It's sold. I just think these are fucking cool. Let me show you the back of them. The back of this one. There's Elizabeth's shield, her coat of arms. And, oh man, I wish I remembered what this said all around it. But there you can see another wool pack on the back. Top. Looks like a pillow. See what I mean? Right there. Oh, the Elizabeth one you have has a hand mark. That is also a mint mark. I mean, Google it and you'll see. I think these were almost all made in the Tower of London, which was called the Tower Mint at the time. Random fact, women in that age could own wool as their own personal possession, independent of a male relative or husband. Probably one of the few things. Maybe jewelry too, which is a whole other tangent we could go on. What should I leave out, Veronica, for my recap at the end? Anything?
Only the Elizabeth penny.
You guys have bought every single goddamn thing so far. I love it. It's so bizarre. It's one of the most surreal things I've ever done. Is sell things on the internet like this. Okay, so next, let me see, where am I? 48. This is the last of the mid-19th century steel pins I have that I bought at a racetrack outside of London last August. Alicia, good. I'm glad you have both. The shilling is cool. It's big. Anyway, this guy's $45. They're called Peerless British Pocket Berry pins. They're just glass-headed dress pins. It's like there's a piece of paper wound into a spiral pretty tightly and a bunch of steel pins stuck in there with hand-blown or hand-dipped glass heads. Speaking of having your own money, pins were something, have you ever heard the phrase pin money? Pin money? Pins were something that women owned from ancient times onward. There were no snaps. There's no Velcro. Basically, you pinned your clothes together. You pinned your hairstyle together, or you sewed it together. People needed hundreds of pins. People dropped and lost hundreds of pins. It's one of the most found items from, via metal detector or on the banks of rivers like the Thames. Pin money was interesting because it's sort of it's the same thing as having pocket money. Having your own petty cash, a little bit of cash in your pocket for pin money means, ostensibly you'd ask your husband for some pin money because you needed pins. All women needed pins, but does he know if you're really buying pins? Or maybe you're buying birth control. Maybe you're buying something for yourself that's kind of like you don't want anyone to know about. Maybe you can buy whatever the fuck you want because that's your pin money. That was one of the only things that women really needed and no one questioned. So am I explaining that properly? Pin money was like your little fun money. Anyway, $45. It says on the back something like, you can read it. These pins are made from the best English steel, made in England, manufactured in England, I think around 1850. Peerless. Oh, here's a good one. This one's $725. You guys know about banded agate at this point. But it's a horn-shaped whistle. Check it out. Why? I don't know. Novelty factor. Kind of fantastic. The horn is giving Viking, Scottish, drinking horn vibes. It's a pretty hunky piece of banded agate. It's all cut from one piece. It's not like glued together or anything. I put a big 14 karat ring at the top. $725. Never seen anything like this. But banded agate was one of the original kind of, it's a type of onyx. It's a layered onyx, and people made cameos from it. So a lot of ancient Roman cameos would be black background with a white figure. That's because the black part of the onyx would be the background, and then they would position the slice of stone just so that they could do the carving in white. But by the 18th, 19th century, people were using it as a beautiful stone in its own, for pretty. There's brown, there's black, there's white layers. Is good. $725. I'd say 1880s, 1870 maybe. Okay, check this out. It's a knife. It's a pocket knife. See the snake? Very fierce. Both sides. Looks like the snake is breaking through. $395. This is a sterling German pocket knife with two tarnished and slightly corroded, but still pretty freaking sharp blades. Let's see. This one my son was very interested in. Wanted to put his finger right there and close those knives. It's marked on one of the blades. It's marked Crucius Brothers, Germany. And from what I could find on the internet, they were a thing. German knife makers. I'm dating this to around 1900.
Sold.
You guys are ready to shop, man. Okay, this is the best and most expensive piece of the night, although the price is pretty fucking good for what it is.
This one's so good.
It's so good. And if it doesn't sell tonight, which I can't imagine it won't, it's going on our website for about $1,000 more than I'm asking here. So $2,900 is the price. It's a posy ring. It says inside Sorry, let me see if I can get this. We, W-E-E, join, J-O-Y-N-E, our love in God above. And the E has that great like little wiggle at the end, which makes it seem kind of joyful. It's a size 8.5. It's an unusually wide band. It's almost a 1/4 inch wide. Size 8.5, and I am not resizing this. It's just not gonna ever look right if we resize it. Can you see all these like little nicks and dings on the outside? This is been underground for, let's see, 300 years. I'm putting this at around the year 1700. These weren't exactly wedding bands, but they were because wedding bands weren't necessarily a thing for every single couple getting married, but they were the closest thing we have to, they had, they were often used for wedding rings. They were used for commitments, let's say, or as reminders to just act right in your relationship. They're super high carat gold. I tested this at 22 carat, so it's probably something closer to 23 carat, pretty much nearly pure gold. And I have not polished it or anything, so that's what gold looks like. Go ahead and polish it if you want, but man, that silky, greenish, orangish, otherworldly kind of pure gold is pretty great. So the year 1700, what was happening at that point? I mean, the earliest colonists were landing in America, in the New World. Yeah, love the unusual finish. That's because when people sell these to me, like when the English dealers get these and sell them to me, they, for some reason, feel like they need to be polished a lot by like a Dremel, like a contemporary jeweler's polish with the rouge and the whole fucking thing. And I'm like, please do not polish them. I don't want these to look like they were machine polished. This one is from my metal detector guy. So this one, straight out of the ground, baby. $2,900, size 8.5. We join our love in God above. It would be a really fantastic wedding band. Or wear it on a chain. I'm not going to say you can't do that. This is before there was anything, even the idea of a standardized spelling in the English language. Dictionary was still centuries away. Weeejoyne. Pretty good. The metal detector guy, I don't think he has the internet, let's just say. I mean, there's some kooks in the antique jewelry world. There's some real fucking kooks. The neurodiverse people in this industry, I mean, we're all a little neurospicy, to be honest. But this guy is living on a whole other plane. So let me just say,
So true.
Veronica and I deal with some fucking kookaloos in this business. You have to have, I mean, that's part of the job. Your tolerance for insane bullshit and storytelling has to be like you have to just have all the time in the world to listen to someone's like whacked out tale of whatever. Yeah, this is sharing a bit about my back portrait ring. What the hell, what are you talking about? Oh, this ring? This one's going to be for sale it's the last thing I'm selling on this live. So stick around and I will talk about it. I love being a psych nurse, man. I mean, I feel like I'm one of the most normal people in the room when I'm at an antique fair. And it is nice, honestly. because everyone means well. Everyone just wants to get excited about antique things. I'm down for it. Okay, so this one, 2,900 A plus posy ring from around the year 1700. It's a little bit warped. It's not a perfect circle. Can you see? It's not very warped, but it's a little ovalish. But 23 karat gold is pretty soft. I can't bend it with my fingers, but if you wanted it to be perfectly circular, I could very gently do that for you with a leather mallet. Let me see, where are we? Oh, here, this might be the oldest. Ooh, Danielle. You're gonna like it. I'm glad to see you here. I guess technically this is the oldest thing in the live. It's a fossil megalodon tooth that's been mounted in brass in the Edwardian era. So around 1910, Titanic era, someone put it in a brass mounting, which is pretty tasteful. Weird that it's brass, that someone would want to make it out of non-precious metal. But the megalodon tooth is millions of years old. It's fossilized. It has a glassy... Danielle, did you buy it?
She did.
You crazy ass bitch. You're going to freak out when you get this. Danielle is a collector. She is Jasmine T. Is that right? Let me go back. Yeah, Jasmine T. She's like one of the she's mother, let's just say. She is mother. She's a fantastic collector. Has like she's one of the great American collectors of this very specific kind of jewelry. Has a great eye and is a really good person and is beloved in the community. Can we talk a little more about this megalodon tooth? The color is so like the lava of this woman. There's something about this greenish, grayish, non-color. And the finish is kind of the same. I mean, there's something they both, were made by the earth. Anyway, sold. It's especially cool because you can still see the serrated edges on this tooth, but it's fossilized. It sounds and feels like stone. It's heavier than it looks like it should be. Anyhow, that's a cool purchase. You're gonna like that thing. All right, so next, this ring, another old as fuck ring. If you thought 1700 was an old ring, this one dates to about the 13th century. Let me see if I can get this focused. All right, so this one came with a whole description. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known what to make of it. I see crosses. I see something that looks like a sea serpent. Oh, don't cry, Danielle. Do not cry. We're asking $1,150 for this. Let me tell you about it. It's size 9.5, by the way. So in the 13th century, someone dropped this in the ground, and it was found in the last couple years in Lincolnshire. The Lombardic letters, AGLA, essentially, are each separated with a cross. There's the G, you can see. Here's the L. That's supposed to be an A. And this was an amulet used against fever. So if you were either sick or trying not to get sick, you would wear this ring. In Hebrew, the letters are Atha, Jebri, Lailon, Adonai, which kind of translates to "Thou art mighty forever, O Lord." And for several hundred years, around the 13th century, that was a talisman, a phrase that was used to protect someone against fever. So using those letters on your body was like the amulet for fever. Pretty awesome, right? later, we've had a couple of medieval rings like this that were made later that say like, what's the prayer? Like Ave Maria Gratia, put like the first letters of that prayer, which were a plague. They're called plague rings. People wore them as a charm on your body to hopefully ward off the plague. This one's just for more generalized fevers. So the year is like 1200, 1300. Really deep Middle Ages. And, oh yeah, here's a cool thing. There's a very old repair on this ring. So old, I mean, it could have been the year 1300. I don't know. It's right there. Super, super duper old, like done in a fire. Fucking awesome. God knows where this ring has been. And what it's seen. 1150. Size 9.5, not resizable, but would look very, very awesome on a necklace. Actually, I'm going to put it on this necklace. Yeah, I know. Wow. Okay, what is next? Megalodon sold. Posey, Danielle. Girl, you're going to like it. Okay, let me see if I can. It's a little finicky, this clasp. Snakeowitz. We never see these anymore. Yeah, you just hang out right there. Okay, next up is the last. Oh no, I have a couple more ancient Roman things. I really skipped around with this one. Okay, this I bought as the guy told me, and no danger of him seeing this and seeing his mistake, because like I said, I don't think he has a phone. I don't know if he has a computer. But this was sold to me as an ancient Roman silver ring. It makes sense that it's ancient Roman because this kind of D shape, this squashed oval shape, was totally an ancient Roman thing. I don't know why it was like that, but it is super comfortable, to be honest. It's more the shape of a finger than a circle. So when it was sold to me as silver, it was really encrusted with like tarnish and corrosion. So when I scrubbed it, imagine how fucking surprised I was to see that this is a stone intaglio. It's an onyx, a Nicolo blue onyx carved stone intaglio of, I think it's a standing figure. You guys are saying eye ring. I don't think it's an eye, but you know what? I don't know what the fuck it is. It's $750. Someone just bought it. But it was sold to me as a silver ring with standing figure, but look at that two-tone blue. It's very comf. It's a size 4 on the mandrel. So I'll show you. Since it's so flattened, it only goes as far as a size 4, but it really fits more. It fits my size 5.5. Totally freaking wearable, but also great on a chain. Sold. Metal detected in Norfolk, England. And I have this little children's toothbrush that I use to clean everything, and I was like scrubbing, and the dirt was falling away, and I'm like, oh, that's onyx. That's a stone, ancient Roman stone. Fucking awesome. Thrilled. Okay, more ancient Roman stuff. This is a ancient Roman faience bead. Okay, it's called a melon bead. I don't know why, but that's what all the dealer I bought it from called it. So it's cool, right? It's $295. It's big. It's kind of jumbo sized. If you have a necklace, a chain that's like full of charms, stick that on the side of it. It's fucking ancient Roman. The cool thing about it, I sold one of these last month. And this one and that one that I sold both had 18 grooves around it, 18 specifically. I don't know what the significance of the number 18 was in ancient Rome. I Googled it, but of course, like, Google will tell you any fucking crazy shit. And I don't know. If anyone knows, please, 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 please tell me. $295. It's light blue, 1st or 2nd century AD. We know it's ancient Roman because it was found in England with a bunch of other ancient Roman little things like cosmetic implements, a place where there was a lot of Roman activity. So faience was kind of an ancient Egyptian thing. Egypt was famous for their faience works, but Romans loved Egyptian faience. They loved it so much that they didn't want to pay for it. They wanted to make their own. So they had faience works all over Rome, all over the empire. They just weren't quite as good at it as the Egyptians were. They used more clay, so it's not quite as exquisite as the Egyptian stuff, but still pretty rad. So if you want to get technical with it, when they fired these beads, it didn't have a glaze. This isn't a blue glaze. It's just the clay has the stuff in it to make the outside blue. So during the firing, there was an alkali and lime, which is a stabilizer. They react with the silica in the clay to form this glaze on the surface. Must have seemed magical at the time. Anyway, someone already bought that. I have a couple more melon beads. If you guys are super, it looks like there was a lot of people who wanted that. If you guys want, DM Veronica, DM Rhinestone Cowgirl, or Veronica, you okay?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Dog.
You heard, Veronica has a new puppy who is very demanding. So I see Veronica like racing through her house. I think the puppy has needs. Okay, so I don't know. How do you, if you're interested in Roman faience beads, just DM me. I don't know. Yeah, leave a DM and I will send you a picture of the ones I have. And I'll make it a thing tomorrow. No, Monday. Okay. Oh guys, the ancient Roman weenie is here. It's what we've all been waiting for. It's really, like, the Weiner is unmistakable. There's even like a little, there's like a little hole at the tip. It's so gross. But were they decorative, the beads? Yeah, they were just decorative. They weren't like used for anything. Invoice ding dong, invoice peen, $525. Ancient Roman ding dong. Oh yeah, you see the little like notch at the tip? Sorry. I mean, I didn't make it. I'm just pointing it out. But they were known as, okay, there were so many phallic charms all over ancient Rome. Basically, at any entrance to an agricultural field, you would have like dicks hanging all over the place. You would have them in doorways. You would have them on your chariot or your palanquin or your horse's bridle. They were freaking everywhere. They were a totemic object for fertility, good luck, protection. They were everywhere in Rome. The Latin word for this is not an actual dick, but a dick charm, a dick decoration, was a fascinum, which alludes to its fascinating, it's sort of functioning as a fascinating the evil eye was the idea of what it was doing. Basically, it's an anti-evil eye charm. And the evil eye would be like looking for you, but then it would see a dick and be like, oh my God, look at that dick. Isn't that funny, hilarious, silly, crazy, whatever? Basically, it was to attract the evil eye away from you. A fascinum, to fascinate the evil eye. This one, I wish there was a good like loop to wear it, but this probably was part of a a garment closure or a horse's saddlery or something. I wish I could get so many more of these fastenums. Congrats to whoever got this. Gloria, I knew you would like that one. More Roman beads. These guys are also ancient Roman. I'm selling all three of them together. They're gonna fly out of my hands. Let me see. They're glass beads. Let me see if I can. I'll flip the camera. I'm asking $225 for the trio of them. They're just these kind of great blue. This one's like a blacker colored blue, but still blue. I'm pretty sure they were made by taking a stick and wrapping hot glass around it. And they are from the same time as the melon bead, you know?
Sold.
They're a little smaller. You can see where that glass was stretched. And I've been reading about ancient Rome, and ancient Rome had a ton of glass. Glass was part of almost everyone's life. Like almost everybody could afford some glass jewelry, at least glass beads or glass, like vessels. And the reason there was so much great glass in ancient Rome is because the best glass in the world at that time was made in the Mediterranean. And the Romans loved the glass that came out of the Mediterranean, so they just fucking conquered all those places, took all their glass technology. All the craftsmen became Romans and had to, they expanded from there. This is from around the 2nd century AD. And if you guys, I know, isn't that wonderful? Someone just wrapping hot glass beads. The blue is great too. It's like this great cobalt indigo. I have more of these as well. Not a ton, but some. So DM if you like ancient Roman glass also. I mean, this looks pretty fucking sick on this necklace too. All of this stuff can be added to your charm necklace, which should be really ever changing. If you have a good chain and a couple great charms, just keep adding to it and subtracting and modifying. Okay, this medieval ring sold. Okay, here's the weirdo of the group. If you want ancient Roman glass, DM, because I don't think we have the ability to keep track of everyone's comments here, but DMs will stay in our inbox. So on Monday, when the dust settles after this thing, I can send you some pictures and prices, and we can do a little deal. Okay, this is something I've had for years. I'm selling it for the same price I bought it for, which is $425. It's a 1970s Gucci lucite watch bracelet. Just what the fuck? What is this not characteristic of me? You know what? I contain multitudes. So I have all kinds of crazy shit that I saw, I had to have, I never wore. So let me show you. Gucci, Italy. The closure looks like this. What does it say? Hot stamped on the back. It says patent pending. And this is a purely manual watch. So to make it run, you have to manually wind it often. Isn't this legendary? Wrist size. Let's see, what wrist size is that? It's pretty small, actually. I'd say this is like a 6-incher. But good, right? Actually, fuck, I know. Why am I selling this? I don't know, but there it is. I'm selling it. it looks to me like there's 14 karat, a very small scraps of 14 karat there on the watch hands and the winder. 1970s, Gucci. And the pink lucite is like kind of salmon-y a little bit. Anyway. Who knew? Studio 54 vibes, yes. $425. 1970s. Manual Gucci lucite watch. Weird as hell. And okay, we're on to our last dozen pieces. Where are we? And we're kind of on time. I always surprise myself that I'm not like going on and on forever. This is a fucking great necklace. Okay, speaking of,
This is so good.
it's real good. Okay, it's a snake head. It's also the clasp. Check it out. Emerald eyes, tricolor gold. It's kind of hard to see in this light, but we've got green gold, which is this like head decoration. Oh, and there's a ruby there that I didn't notice before. I'm gonna put this under the light. Okay, ruby in the back, 2 emeralds in the head. This is 1950. So here's the clasp. Goes like this. I date this to about, grab my paper. Fuck, man. Someone just bought it. It still surprises me. I'd say 1840. It's also got this great, like, swivel in the back. So it's never going to be like, I don't know, it's just going to move with you. The chain is not from 1840. The chain is actually from like 1980s London. Okay, it's got a hallmark. Let me see where the hallmark is. Yeah, the hallmark says 9 carat. The hallmark is for London, 1990. But you know what? These proportions are good. So they go together, baby. This is a great, great necklace to have as a base for all your charms. And you know what? This little barrel clasp, this thin little clasp, ancient Roman beads are going on there. This is like the kind of chain you need to make your necklace really, I don't know, really your necklace. Let's see. Whoever bought that is a good purchase. You won't be sorry. It even has like good under the head. Let's see. This is what they did in the mid-19th century. They gave you details where it didn't have to have details. Under there, no. Often they have teeth or some sort of tongue. This one does not, but someone just asked, why are most animal eyes made with rubies? The red? I don't know. This one actually has emerald eyes. I have a ring that I wear every day that has little single cut diamond eyes. But rubies, I don't know, they're very dramatic in the eyes. Next up, I like to put like a little bit of hardware in all of these Instagram lives. This is, I'm asking $450. I tested it. It tested as 14 karat, which means it's probably 15 karat because it's English. 14 karat is an American gold standard, but 15 is British. $425. I'd say 1870, 1880. It's like an extra large half-inch clasp. And I've seen ones like this before. There's a really similar one on my sort of large gauge chain bracelet. Check this out. So that's what this one is used for. Must be the same thing. I know there's someone out there who needs an extra large clasp. It could also just get threaded on a chain and be your charm holder. Chain would go through that little ring, and then this would be where you added all your charms, such as and so many things could go on there. Hardware. Next piece of hardware is a little split ring, 9-carat faceted split ring, $345. It's a real rosy color, as opposed to this one, which is like a more true yellow. Can you see? Rose gold, yellow gold. Although 19th century gold is never straight up pink or yellow. Both are in the range of pinkish yellow. Wild Carrot Hairwork is here. Hi, good to see you. Love your work. Split ring sold. Clasp is sold too. Is anything unsold?
The only unsold item is the Elizabeth Penny.
Okay.
That's it.
Guys, it's fucking crazy. I work for like 2 weeks or more on these little collections and pricing them, and I like fret and worry over them, and I'm like, does this one fit in? Is it good enough? Is it? And then I get so excited when you guys respond in this way. It's like reminds me that I'm not just some kook like sifting through garbage in my studio, you know? I mean, obviously it's not garbage, but I do so much work alone. I mean, very happily alone with these little objects, and I really like vibe with them. So it's kind of crazy to see them released into the wild. Thanks. Am I the best? My kids would say otherwise, because man, did I make 6 or 7 different dinners for them tonight. Not one of them was good. They were all vomit inducing. The barf noises that they came up with for every like exquisite snack and dish I made them. Do I do hair work for Wild Carrot hair work? Yes, please talk amongst yourselves. The next thing is a little something I always try to put in every live too, is a little wax seal. This is a very little wax seal. It's only about 3/4 of an inch tall. And the little head is just like, I'd say 3/8 of an inch. So here's what we've got on there. It's 3 different flowers. You know, I love florography, but this is not a florography thing. This is a political thing. We've got a thistle, a clover, and a rose. So the thistle is representing Scotland, the clover is Ireland, obviously, and the rose, since the Tudor times, Tudor roses represent England. So I think dating this seal, this is $5.95, by the way. It's not gold, it's gold fill and carnelian, or maybe glass. I don't have a stone tester, actually. Should probably get on that. But this looks to me like it could be from as early as 1800, which is when the Acts of Union were signed in the UK, which united England, Scotland, and Ireland. Bonkers piece, I know. So this could be something celebrating that, or this could be something that was worn by a supporter of the unification of the 3, islands. Because I'm sure a lot of people opposed it, and I'm sure a lot of people supported it. But it's sort of a romantic notion of uniting these 3 flowers. In reality, those 3 countries have never, maybe not never, but often felt very uncomfortable in their unitedness. Wax seal, it's sold. Sometimes you can even see wax still in these guys, a little bit of wax. This one I don't see any, but I don't know, get a really good magnifier. Maybe you'll see some. That's what it was used for. Sealing letters. Oh, here's a freaky deaky one. This one, when I saw it, I was like, oh yes, I'm putting that in the live. Remember I said self-care? Here is, for $60, you can have a homeopathic remedy, Humphreys Homeopathic, made in New York, actually. It's a remedy for cholera morbus, deadly cholera. Fucking crazy, right? So this is unused, unopened. Apparently, I guess you'd pull the string to open it up. It says 142 pellets, American Homeopathic Pharmacy, number 6, made in the USA. I can feel they're like little pellets. At the time, I'm dating this to, sometime in the 19th century, 1880 maybe, cholera there were no remedies for cholera. It's sold, but oh, hey, Emily Weiner. So thrilled when my family members jump on. Okay, Ween, you're gonna like this. She's like, what the fuck is my sister's job? What is this? This is a medicine for cholera morbus. Okay. Obviously, don't actually eat this. Although I'm sure if you did eat these, I'm sure it's just sugar pellets. The only cure for cholera is rehydration, keeping someone hydrated, usually through IV. Cholera isn't a problem in the US or Western Europe anymore because they figured out what causes it, which is poor sanitation, mostly water contamination. So cholera was so feared in the 19th century that it really led to sanitation reforms. It was killing people right and left. And America had to get their shit together. This was not the answer to cholera. Clean water was. Okay, that's sold. The next one is, I'm asking $425 for this banded agate sort of jumbo locket. Just like the patch box that I was selling before, it's just brass. It's kind of extra large. 2 different pieces of agate that are really different in color. This one's much more brown. This one's much more black and white. Banded agate is just like so incredibly dynamic. It doesn't have lenses inside. Doesn't look like there ever were lenses inside. It's to put a big hunk of hair. Can you see how transparent it is? This one, not so much. This one, very much. You don't work with a doctor named Dr. Cholera. That's not true. I don't believe you. Okay, this one's got a couple of invoices out, so I'll move on. I love shoe-shaped stuff. I don't know. I just do. This would have been a desktop item. I'm asking $395. This is older than it looks. This is possibly 18th century. This would have sat on your desk and it would have been full of like snuff, cocaine, something that you put up your nose. It's got little silver inlays for the laces and the aglet, or what are those called? Eyelets. And it's French. I got it from a French dealer. It's little, it's cute, it's $395. Put whatever you want in there, but it's just incredibly well made. It's some kind of lacquered paper or lacquered wood, maybe a very early thermoplastic, I'm not sure. But it really is just like a desktop item. It's a coke shoe, cocaine shoe. Okay, here's what... Next up, I used to be, one of my like entry points to antiques were love tokens. Basically, coins that were engraved on, altered coins. People have been doing it since there were coins. I think there's ancient Roman coins that have been engraved on. This one's a American dime. I looked it up. I know exactly when these dimes were minted, and it was 1837 to 1891. So does anyone know what mater is? I figured it was like German for mother. By the way, $345 for the American silver dime. It's not German. It's Latin for mother. So why would an American dime have the Latin word for mother on it? American huckleberry. I follow you. It's like really interesting people in this live right now. Emily, are you still there, sis? Yeah, it's mother in Latin, but why? I don't know. Why not? $345 on a dime from the 1830s to the 1890s. So could have been any time in the 19th century. 1880 is kind of our go-to for many unknown dates of antiques. 1880 is sort of a safe bet for a lot of it, but it's a really nice engraving. One dime. Yeah, everyone did study Latin back then, so there you go. That's why. Oh, there are a couple people waiting for the moonstone. $375. It's just a milky ass little moonstone pendant in a 10-carat frame. This is, let me show you a better. That's how you know it's a moonstone. That like interior light, it's called a schiller. $375. Art Nouveau 10-carat moonstone pendant. This and the Baroque pearls were like just such an Art Nouveau thing. That hazy, gauzy, frosted, color-changing, like mystery kind of thing. But the schiller is what we use to describe this reflective light that just kind of bounces around inside the stone.
Sold.
Okay, that's sold. We're on our last three things. These guys are just downright like useful. It's a stamp holder. It's a silver, I don't know, do you call this a locket even? It's $425. It's English. The hallmarks, this looks like it was never used, never worn. But man, can you see this? This camera's fucking amazing. One of them is an anchor stamp right in the middle. Anchor means Birmingham, England. So we've got the maker's mark right here. Sorry, my eyes cannot see that. And I'll be damned if I wear glasses like an old person. But yeah, the middle one is Birmingham. And then, oh my God, I can't see it now. But there's a date letter. So it's like a lowercase r at the end, maybe. I can't fucking see it, but it's 1903. I looked it up before. Georgia. Yeah, I know. Just cursing and refusing to wear glasses. 1903, Birmingham stamp holder locket. It's a good one. I mean, what a like simple and elegant design. Here's another nice little American piece. Guys, I'm a coin nerd. It's official. This is a 1 penny, American penny, from 1901. I'm not sure when they started putting dates on the coins, but there it is, 1901. The unfortunately named Indian head penny, which was in circulation for a long time. And the frame is 14 karat gold, and on the bottom it says Lucky Penny. So you can keep this lucky penny in or find your own lucky penny and swap it out. But there it is, lucky penny. And I imagine the whole shebang is from the first decade of the 20th century. The copper penny inside looks to be like brand spanking new. 14 karat coin mount with a glass lenses. $5.50. Why are pennies lucky? I don't know. But this one apparently is. Oh, here's another fun fact. This one has a little bit of a like staining, I would say, on the top of the loop. Okay, so check it out. This loop is it's gold. It's 14 karat gold, but do you see like some dark, shitty looking staining on the top? That's probably from someone using an acid to test the carat of the gold. Basically, I have an acid tester. It's like literally a droppers full of different acids that you make a little tiny, you use your gold like a little piece of chalk and scratch a little tiny bit off on this black stone and then drop some acid on it. And if the acid eats away the gold, then you know it's not 14 karat, if that's the acid you're using. Basically, so instead of using a little bit of the gold on a stone, someone just poured acid on the top of this to see if it was worth melting down or not. When they saw that it was they probably used an 18 karat, whatever. Anyway, so acid is very strong. So if you fuck around with acid and don't use safety glasses or safety, if you're not very careful with it, like yours truly, you can really burn yourself. And I wanted to show you some permanent and brand new burns I have on my fingers from acid because, yeah, there's a new one. And don't do that. Don't use acid carelessly. Okay, final thing. The last thing is this piece I've been wearing all night. It's called a prison ring. This is sort of apocryphal, I imagine, or maybe not. In the 1930s, this probably was how it started, actually. People in prisons were trying to be crafty and would take early plastic things like pens, toothbrushes, things that were made of celluloid, which can be melted, molded, and bonded together. Actually, celluloid bonds to itself. So someone melted some white celluloid and black celluloid, probably from like ballpoint pens. And they started creating these rings that are now known as prison rings. They would make them, swap them with other prisoners for things that they might like. And you could stick a photograph in it and cover it with yet more clear celluloid. These things are super like collectible, swappable. And eventually they weren't so much like a prisoner thing or a handmade thing. They became a trend in their own right. And like jewelry companies were making them. But they're called prison rings, and that probably is how they started. There was also a bunch of awesome fucking folk artists. One of them was named Bob Dodd, who collected celluloid of all these different colors and made these like kaleidoscopic, psychedelic rings that are really, really rad. And I'm negotiating to get a couple of them, so you may see them soon. And that's my last piece. Veronica, what's still up for grabs?
The only pieces that are still up for grabs are the Elizabeth Penny and the Matcha Love Token.
Cool. Okay. So I'll show you these two pieces, but man, those are just like two little guys. Elizabeth I, Queen Elizabeth, tiny little silver hammered penny made in the Tower of London in the year like 15, God knows what. I don't know where. Okay, this is $425, made in 1584 out of silver. Basically, you made them by taking a little piece of silver, putting it in a mold with the image of Queen Elizabeth's family crest on the back, putting another mold on top, and then banging it with a hammer, creating a flat pancake, double-sided coin. $425. And the other thing is, on an American silver dime, a love token, someone sort of like flattened out, sanded out the other side of the dime, and engraved the Latin word for mother. This one is $345. And these are the last two orphans of this 46 pieces for sale today, which is spectacular. Thank you for coming. Happy Valentine's Day. Leave me a DM if you're interested in the ancient Roman beads that I sold tonight, because I have a few more, and I will DM you back on Monday. I love you. Try to stay sane. Fucking crazy. Shit's crazy right now. That's it. See you next time.